Warning. Listening to this show may result in increased levels of inspiration, motivation, and innovation. Side effects can include the immediate urge to take massive action to build a better business and life for yourself and others. You've been warned. Welcome to Influencers Radio with your host, Jack Mize.
And welcome back to another episode of Influencers Radio. Today, we are going to be talking about, well, I hate to even say talk about a video, because video, a lot of people think there's so much with what you can do with video for your business, and a lot of people do it wrong. They just hit record and start, just drooling on about themselves. And the thing is, you can do it right, but when I say you do it right, you don't have to, that doesn't mean you have to do it perfectly. And today, my guest is Keri Murphy. She is really a celebrity entrepreneur. That's what she helps, is turn people into celebrity entrepreneurs. And most people have that this romanticized vision in their head of what a celebrity entrepreneur is, and they think it's this perfection or glamorous. But in reality, it's about letting people see you as that educator and that advocate for their success. And you can do that without a lot of the pageantry that most people think that has to be done when you're doing video. And, Keri Murphy is not just someone that's great at video. She has the experience to back it up. TV host. She is the CEO of Inspired Living TV. And when I say TV host, I'm talking about lots of different golf TV. We'll talk about some of that, all the different subject matter, because it really is about understanding the very purposeful and strategic ways that you use video, and understanding why you're doing what you're doing for different types of video. So, Keri Murphy, welcome to Influencers Radio.
Thank you, Jack. So great to be here. I loved it when you say people just drool on camera, drool about themselves. Yes, and we're going to talk about how to eloquently get your message out there without being perfect. I love that you said that. You do not have to be perfect. I know we're going to talk about that. But thank you so much for having me.
Well, no, and that's why I love what you do, is because you remove a lot of the obstacles and fears that people have when doing video. They say speaking in front of a crowd is, one of the number one fears that people have. And I think the next thing is video. And you spend any time on YouTube, you always hear about the viral videos and those ones that you just can't stop watching. But then there's some that are so painful to watch. Right? They're like a cultural train wreck, I call it. You don't want to look, but you have to, right?
And you know what? Honestly, Jack, that's how I even got started. That's how I got started with It Factor. My It Factor trainings was as you said, I've been a TV host for over 20 years and have worked on networks like E! and TV Guide and the Golf Channel and MTV. And yet I'm an entrepreneur at heart. And I love working with entrepreneurs. And I would watch their videos, and I really got a pain in my heart and a little in my stomach watching, because, they put out, so often people put out a version of themselves that they think is perfect, or they think everyone wants to see. And it's so inauthentic and so incongruent that I was like, I've got to start teaching people how to do this. And it's truly been phenomenal. And I love it. It takes away all that fear that they have.
And that is, and I want to talk about that fear, because that really is one of the things that one, keep people from doing video in the first place. And two, if they actually do dive in, they do it completely wrong out of fear of them looking not professional, right? Or looking the way that they think they should look. And I want to get over, because I know a lot of people are thinking, well, Jack, that's easy for you to say. You have the panache to pull off these videos, right?
Absolutely.
But in reality, it's not about perfection. So let's start with that, is completely remove that obstacle of perfection from videos. And then we'll talk about the different types of videos you can use in your business. But I think the first thing is to remove that notion of perfection. So what is it that you see people doing that really takes up way too much time unnecessarily because of what they think they need to do to prepare to do a video for their business.
Well, you know what, Jack, when I am working with people, I often say the P in perfection stands for poison. It's poisonous to your brand, it's poisonous to your business, and it's certainly poisonous to you because you're trying so hard to put out this version of you, like I said, that you think everyone wants to see, that says everything right. And, you know, in this interview, you'll hear we mess up, we flub, we might stutter, but we're so authentic and connected. It's one of the things I love about you, Jack, is that how you show up is who you are. And I really try to be that person as well in every area of my life. It's not like you see Keri on video and then you meet me in person, or you see me speak and I'm someone else. I am the same person. And yet when people press record, they lose anything human and true that is them. That's their true essence of their being. And so when I talk and work with people, it is the first thing that we break through is that, you know, you don't have to be perfect. And I look at the Oprahs of the world, or even, you know, the Tony Robbins, the Richard Bransons, the Ellen DeGenereses. Like, they're amazing people that are changing lives in our culture. And yet, you know, society might not say they're perfect or the most beautiful or the most eloquent or, you know, but they don't care. They're so true to who they are that we love them or hate them. And that's important as you're getting out there and building your brand. But you have to be so clear about who you are that you don't really, and I know this is hard, I'm a woman, so it's probably a little bit tougher for us. But when I say you can't care about what people think about you, like what people think about you is none of your business. You need to be true to who you are and your message. I could talk about this for hours, Jack, because I get so passionate about it, because people are so stuck in their perfection and looking right and sounding right. But I often, here's a really great analogy. Think about a movie that you love. Think about a movie scene that you remember. And I often say, it might be a line that sticks with you, but it's not how perfect they said the line. It's not how perfect that actor, you know, said his script. It was what he brought to that scene that made you feel something, connect with him or her. That is where video comes in. You don't have to be an actor, but you have to be true to who you are, or else no one's going to listen to you.
You know, I think that's one of the cruel ironies of video is when you hit the record button, people lose the ability to be themselves. Mm-hmm. And you know, is there some trick? Is there something that you do to people or say to them or help them to remove that thing that just sucks their personality out of their brain the second that record button comes on, that allows them to do that? Or do you know, I've heard of people secretly, you know, recording without letting them know it's recording so they can see the natural themselves. But what is that trick? Because it seems so simple to be yourself, but as soon as you tell someone to be yourself, they don't know what to do.
Yeah, and it truly is the transformation that happens in, you know, my 2-day It Factor training. I mean, people come in and they're so wrapped up in that version of themselves. And by the time they leave, they're so over that and truly authentically connected. But for your listeners, here's a great tip. When you're talking on camera, I really want you, you know, get hair and makeup ready, get your best self put together. That's great. And then once you press record, I want you to picture that one person that you're talking to. You're not a TV host, you're not a speaker. You're speaking to one person, and it's the one person who needs you most. And a lot of times, Jack, people don't know who they're talking to. They just press record. And so it's all about them, and it's all about their script and their words. But when you can really think about who am I talking to and why do they need me? What is their pain? What is their challenge? Why do they need to work with me or know about me? Even though it's not about you. And that's just the fact of the matter is, and I know this is really harsh, but it's true. It's not about you. Your videos are not about you. They are about you helping someone get a result. And when you can start flipping that switch in your mind, shifting that mindset from it's all about me and being perfect and saying things perfectly to it's all about that one person who I know right now is really struggling and I can help them, it changes everything.
You know, it is. You know, I've seen some amazing transformations of some of the folks that have gone through your program when, you see videos of them before, and I'm glad you said the word scripting, where it's just so painfully obvious they're following a script, and that script is generally filled with things. It's almost like they're reading a resume. I've done this and I've been certified in this and I've done this and I've been in business to that, to seeing them after this transformation that you put them through. And all of a sudden you could tell there is no script. There's no, and even then the perfection may not be there, every word, the cadence, but it's natural. They're conversational, and it is all about them. I've seen people, especially the folks that you've gone through, that you've worked with, like in the health and fitness, where it's gone, if you have this problem and you probably think this and you probably, have these questions. Well, here's the answer and here's how you can, and it is all about them, but in a very natural way. And even if there's screw ups, it doesn't matter. And even if it's recorded on an iPhone camera, right? All that stuff is peripheral to the message. And it really is magical. And the thing is, when people see some of the folks that have gone through your programs, it looks so natural to them. But if they could only see that before, to see how that transformation.
I'm going to put out more of those before videos, because people see the after, but I really want them to see the transformation. And this isn't about, hey, come to my training. This is really about helping you see how important it is. I mean, Jack, truly, 8 out of 10 views online are video. And I just read something the other day that people are 85% more likely to remember what they saw in a video than what they read in text. Like, the impression that you make on people, the positioning, which is what you guys are all about, right? And what I'm about is helping position you as that celebrity in your field. There has to be a confidence about you. There has to be, I know the result that I bring, and I am so confident. Like, I am so confident with the result that I bring people that I can shout it, across, because I've done it and I've seen the transformation over and over again. But you also have to have the humility and the empathy to understand where people are at. Because if they just see you and your end result and the end result you bring people, they don't understand that you really know what they need and where they are. So speaking to that person, speaking into that challenge, but also positioning yourself as the authority. And that is one of the types of videos that I teach.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, because you have some very, very specific styles of video that you talk about. And a lot of people, it may be subtle difference, because there are times when you want to look, your best and have that appearance, but it's probably not nearly as often as people think that it needs to be.
It's not.
And then
it's not. There are definite times that you do want to show yourself as the authority, as the expert. And there's a type of video that we shoot for that. But it's not like I need to shoot this type of video every day. Like, actually, that one, once you do it once or twice, then you're good. And then you need the other types of videos to fill in around that.
Right. So that's like your cornerstone video that gives people an insight into what you do and the overview of your type of business. But then you have these videos that are really far more, I'd say, easier to make and far more personable, that let people kind of inside. And it may not even be talking so much about your business, but it almost lets them get to know you as a person, which obviously benefits you. What is that style of video? What do you call that?
I call those videos personality videos. We all hear about, doing business with people we know, like, and trust. But here's the deal. When we're looking at doing business with someone, I'm going to talk about myself. When I am looking at doing business with someone, there's a lot of people in a certain space. I never worry about competition, because I know people that work with me, like my way, and, Susie has her way, you have your way. There's nothing wrong with that. But what really helps connect people to you and what you do is helping them get to know you outside of your business. If you're only posting videos about your business and what you do and the results that you bring, that's great and it's needed, but you know what? There's a lot of people doing what you do. So let them into your life a little bit. Help them get to know you. Help them understand that you're a real person. And I always use the U.S. Weekly, where you open it up and you see the celebrities buy coffee too. Celebrities go to the park. Celebrities tie their shoes. Who cares? But as a society, we're just enamored with the fact that, I want to be a celebrity. But I want to see they're real people. Same thing for you and your business. They want to see you as the expert and the authority. However, they also want to see that you're an everyday person that has everyday challenges, that every day isn't rainbows and lollipops, and that they also have a connection with you. So I'll post something like I am shooting a video with my family at a vineyard, or I'm posting a video on a day I really don't want to go work out, but I'm going to go anyway. Or, there's all these different types of videos, personality-driven videos. You shoot them on your iPhone or whatever, cell phone that you have, smartphone, and they don't have to be professional. They have to be real. And when people start seeing that, then they're going to have a stronger opinion about you. And the ones that really have an affinity towards what you do and who you are so much more likely to work with you.
Yeah, and I guess that's what I think. The it factor. That's what the it factor is. It's not one particular way of doing things. It's all of these are kind of ingredients in the recipe of the it factor. And so is the it factor something that you developed and kind of backed into and discovered, or is it something that you had? Because have you always been it? That's what I want to know. Did kids run up to you on the playground when you were a kid and say you're it?
I did get tagged a few times.
Okay.
Yes. However, I grew up in the entertainment industry. I started modeling and acting when I was at the awkward, fun age of 11. But then I started, doing film and commercial and hosting. TV hosting was where I really found my niche and my passion. But I also always owned a business on the side. So I've been an entrepreneur for 16 years. So I cultivated it within me. And it is that thing that when someone walks into a room, there is a confidence, but there is also a connection. There's an authenticity. There's not an air. It's like you just want to get to know them more. And everyone has it within themselves. There's nothing outside of you that you don't already possess that's going to help you achieve anything that you want in your life. I believe that through and through. However, just like anything else, when I used to own my talent agency, Jack, people were naturally talented. They had it, but they still needed to invest in acting classes and training and getting the right headshots and making sure that their image was what they wanted it to be. It's all about positioning. And so that's my sweet spot, is really helping heart-centered, excited, entrepreneurs, teaching them how to package themselves in a way that shows them as the celebrity and as the expert. So we all have it. It's that elusive thing that you just want to be around, but we all have to learn to cultivate it. And you only do that by doing something often. People come to my trainings, they shoot this amazing video, and then they might not shoot a video for months. And I say to them, would you go and take a piano lesson, never take one again, and expect to be great? No, you have to practice. You have to constantly do them. And the more you do anything, the better you get. And video's the same way.
Well, let's say someone is saying, okay, you know what? This may not be as daunting as I thought. I don't have to go out and get the big $2,000 light kit and the fancy camera and hire the cameraman. Let's say I want to do a video for my business, just to show people, to educate people, to show them that I'm an advocate for their success in what I do, my product or service. Give me kind of the metrics of that. What, as far as how long that video should be and kind of what it should incorporate to do that if they're doing it on their iPhone or their, just a little digital camera.
Sure. And I call those positioning videos. They are very important. They should be the video that people see on your homepage. There may be the preview on your YouTube channel. It positions you as that authority. It also helps people understand what you do, why they need you, and how you do it. and it has to have a call to action. You can absolutely shoot these at home, although I do prefer you invest in going out and getting it done professionally. However, I've shot lots of videos at home in my office. Actually, a whole online training I shot in my home office here. So, first of all, you do need good lighting and you do need good sound, because those are the two things. Like, have you ever, Jack? I'm sure you have. Like, you've looked at someone's video. They look great, but they sound horrible. And all of a sudden, they go from expert to I'm clicking off the page.
Oh, yeah. It makes it almost impossible to even pay attention to.
Right. Or they sound great, but you can barely see them. Or the lighting is horrible. So you do not have to go out and buy an expensive lighting kit. Get in front of a window. Have a lamp on next to you. Invest in an external microphone or a little boom mic that you can get at Best Buy for, $20, $30. But make sure that you actually have some good lighting and sound, because if you're shooting a video that puts you in that positioning, you got to play the part. You got to look the part, and that's really important. So then, once you have those basic things, you want to really, right off the bat, and this is one of the things we deep dive into in my training, is there's a format that I teach, Jack, that allows people to be unscripted but on task. You don't want to, like you said, drool this on camera, just, have no idea what you're saying. But you also don't want a script, because people don't connect with people who are reading. Like, there's just nothing authentic about that.
Well, that right there, and I want to make sure that we don't gloss over that, because that right there is what I see 90% of the time.
Horrible.
Is you either have someone that you actually see them like walking back from turning the video on, right? And saying, so I decided I just want to shoot this video to kind of talk about, this, and it's just, okay, what are they watching a TV show while they're doing this? They're off task. Or it's the complete extreme where you see their eyes clearly going back and forth, reading this thing. And people think that that's the only way that they're going to remember what they're going to say, but it dilutes the message so much when that occurs.
You.
Yeah.
No one. Because, again, you're not connected to them. You're connected about your words. So why would they be connected to you? Truly. I mean, think about a movie. Like, could you imagine if the actor was, like, reading the words off a teleprompter or a script? Now, a great TV host, like you see, I love Kat Deely from So You Think You Can Dance. Like, she has a teleprompter, but she's so good on prompter, and she's so professional that you would never know. If you are that proficient, because I use prompter too, but scripting the words on the wall, your eye is always going away from the camera. So it's like me talking to you, and then I'm constantly shifting my attention somewhere else. Please don't do it. Just don't do it. Have some bullet points. And the first bullet point should be, why should this person listen to me? So it's got to be about them first, because if it's about you first, they're going to probably go somewhere else. So for example, if I'm doing a positioning video, I might say to someone, are you tired of feeling like you're the best kept secret out there? Do you know that if more people knew about you, you would change lives, but you're so frustrated that you can't get your message out there to the people who need it, that you're ready to pull your hair out? If so, hi, I'm Keri Murphy, and the Ignite Your It Factor on camera training is for you. Like, notice, I didn't say, hi, I'm Keri, I've been a TV host for over 20 years, and da-da-da-da-da. You've got to connect with their need first, and then go into how you can help them and who you are.
That's right there is what I call.
That is so juicy.
You've created a crystal ball.
Yeah.
It's like you know exactly what you're inside their head at that point.
Right.
Because you know who you're talking to. And so one of the mistakes I see people do is, like you say, hi, are you a 80-year-old woman that has this, or perhaps you're a teenage boy that is this, or maybe you're that. And then they try to cast this wide net to talk to all these different people.
And you're going to reach nobody. The best compliment I ever get is when someone says, I watched one of your videos and I felt like you were talking to me. It's the best compliment.
That's the it factor. That's the magic of it.
That's it. Yeah. And that's what we do. Like, when people watch your video, that one person that you know is your ideal client, they should feel like that crystal ball is perfect. Like, oh my gosh, they know exactly who I am and what I'm struggling with and what I need. This is crazy. They're talking directly to me. And you'll always have, spillover. You'll always attract other people. But gosh, you're so right. If you're trying to reach everyone, you will reach no one. And then you'll sit there going, gosh, I'm doing all these videos and no one's contacting me. It's because no one really knows if you're the right person for them.
Because if you have 5 people that leave that video saying, yes, Keri understands my problem, versus 100 people saying, Keri seems to know something about making videos. That's a huge difference between you understand my problem versus you have this kind of skill that I may or may not need to do what I'm trying to accomplish.
Exactly.
And so do you have a problem with that where people think that but I'm leaving all this, I'm neglecting a big chunk of the broad audience if I talk too specifically, and they try to.
All the time. Yeah, all the time. And on day one, that's really what we work on, is not only getting them over their fear and their version of perfection, but really helping them understand who they are talking to and how to speak to them. There's 4 different types of learning styles. How do you craft your copy in such a way that connects with people in all 4 of those areas while still making it sound like you're speaking to one? And so it's that thing that we work on, is really getting clear on that, we say an avatar, your ideal client avatar. You have to know, to the detail, that person that you're talking to. And it's scary because people often think, well, gosh, I'm going to ignore all these other people who need me. And I promise you that's not the case. As soon as you get focused on who you are talking to, you'll have so many more people connected with you, because they'll go, oh my gosh, she or he is for me. And so once you get over that fear, I see a lot of aha moments and businesses shifting and growing. It was for me too. I was kind of a generic business coach. First I was a life coach and no one knew what I did. And then I went into kind of more business coaching. But the minute that I got specific on working with entrepreneurs, on creating high profile brands through video, my company continues to double or triple in business every year. It's just, and I've struggled with it for so long because I didn't want to just be the on-camera coach. And even though I have Inspired Living, which is a bigger brand, the it factor is the niche that I'm building my area of that brand. And right now, honestly, it's hard to keep up. Like, we have training set for all of 2015, and so it's exciting, but it's magical when you get that. So if you're listening, this is please get this, take this away. It's focus on that one person and don't be scared to do that.
I'm glad you said that. And I hope you don't mind branching off on this, because I think this is really, because you work with a lot of folks who are perhaps they're life coaches or they're coaches of some type in their business, right? And one of the things that I see is, and you said that yourself, that you had this, that nobody knew what you did, right?
Right.
Because I've been a lot of life coaches that have a wonderful solution to problems that very few people realize they have, right? They don't identify with that. And, usually when I would ask them, well, so what is it you do? I help people reach their goals. Yeah. And I think, wow.
What kind of goals?
I mean, I just can't imagine. I'm sold. I need that. I'm in. But because they think, well, but I can help a person that's in this situation, or I can help a person in this, or I can help a person, and that's where they just start going really wide. And that has to be one of the toughest things that people have to come to terms with. And I think that's why, you're considered more than just on camera training. You do a wonderful job of showing people on camera, but it's what happens to get their head straight before they even hit record to understand, because that's what increases their business. That's what helps their business grow exponentially. I've seen the people that you worked with, like in the health and fitness, that sure, you could teach everyone how to do a setup, but if you talk to that one, that's what I always thought. Hey, I'm going to do that. Here's my message. It's a 2-second video. Hey, fatty, do a sit-up. But nobody's going to buy that, right?
Oh, yes, that is correct.
So
you might have a couple, but and it really is.
So it's almost like they got to reduce their market. That's what they think they're doing. Oh, but I'm shrinking my market if I do that. But really what you show them how to do is be far more valuable and worth more and worth higher fees to a very specific market rather than casting that wide net out there. And I want to, make sure that that's not overlooked, that it's not just about how to make the videos and how to the on camera training. It's the becoming the person that you have to be to make your business more valuable, make yourself more valuable, so that people do, just like you said with those videos where they see that video and say, yes, this person understands my problem.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, again, this is just the feedback that I've gotten from the people that I've worked with. So it's like, I hate to toot my own horn, but I also want to say that it's so much more than teaching people just to show up on camera. Because when you learn how to just show up in your business, when you learn how to connect and convert that one client that's going to be a lifetime client, who's going to bring you more clients, who's going to tell their friends about you, and then you connect, you get more and more of those what I call ideal clients. I want to work with people that I like. I want to work with people that are ambitious. I want to work with people that are leaders, that are committed to making a difference, and that want to make a kick-ass income doing it. Because when we make great money, we can give and we can make such a bigger difference in the world. Those are my peeps. I talk to those people. I connect with those people. I'm not for everyone. I don't try to be for everyone. And so, Jack, yes, for those of you that are listening, this is such an important thing to realize, that when you get really clear on the transformation you provide, when you say life coach, when you say I'm a business coach, and people go, oh, that's nice, that's great, right? Everyone says, oh, I'm a healer, I'm an energy healer, oh, that's really nice. But when you get really specific with the results that you provide and who you provide them for, people don't just say, oh, that's nice. People say, oh, my gosh, I need that.
Yes. Or I know someone that needs that.
Or I know someone. Mm-hmm.
That is, that just tremendous. And I'm glad we went deeper into that, because I really do think that that's one of the main ingredients into the it factor. Keri Murphy, I gotta say, I've seen the transformations firsthand on what you've done with folks, and it really is remarkable. So you're definitely top of the heap as far as influencers in my book. How can folks find out more about what you're doing? I mean, you have inspiredliving.tv, which is, I hate to say it. It's almost like, when you're a guy looking at the Cosmopolitan at the grocery store. I look at it, but there's good stuff in there, and I got to convince myself that because it's a beautiful site, and you have such great examples of what you do. So I know there's inspiredliving.tv, but so for folks that want to go deeper and really not just for the on camera tips, but also that whole getting your head around what it is you do and who it is you help, how can they find out more about that?
Yeah, we're actually putting up a new gift, which is a 4-part video series on the 4 steps that I really had to step into before I could launch my $1 million brand, and that is a free gift. So when you join our community, and that's just really it. I mean, if you're someone out there that has big goals for yourself and a big vision for your life, Inspired Living is for you. It Factor is a part of that, and you can go to igniteyouritfactor.com and learn more about what I offer and how I can help you. But please go to the site, join our community, find me on Facebook. We really do need each other, because it can be very scary, it can be lonely, and Inspired Living is really about helping you use your gifts to the best and highest use possible, and living not just an okay life, but a truly extraordinary life that you're excited about every day. And that's my mission. That's why I get up every day, and it's part of what the It Factor does for people as well. So I would be so excited to connect with you through Inspired Living. You can also, I'll give you my email. Email me at Keri, Keri, at inspiredliving.tv. If you have questions, you want to connect, you want to find out more, happy to connect with you and help you.
Yeah, definitely check it out, inspiredliving.tv, and follow what Keri's doing through social media, because you'll see examples of what we talked about today. You'll see, and you'll be able to see, oh, I see what she's doing there. She's doing the personality. Oh, I see what she's doing there. It really is remarkable when you see that these aren't by accident or just happen, that they really are, very purposeful ways that you create that. And I want to thank you for coming on Influencers Radio today and sharing that with us.
You're very, very welcome. It's always an honor to be a part of your community, Jack. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Folks, there you have it. InspiredLiving.tv. Keri Murphy, you will be all the better for checking it out and following out what Keri is up to. Until next time on Influencers Radio, remember, you are the only real game changer.
You've been listening to Influencers Radio. To get all past shows and updates on future shows, visit influencersradio.com today or follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/influencersradio.